So, a lot of people have been asking me about free will recently. Does free will exist or not? But here's the trouble with that question. The answer can never truly be known by the mind, right? I mean, if I tell you that there is free will, well, there might be no free will in me telling you a falsehood because there's no free will. And if I tell you that there isn't free will, it could actually be that I had free will to tell you a little lie there and you're just being tricked. Either way, there's absolutely no way for me to give you any conclusive answer that would ever truly satisfy your mind. Why? Because the answer is beyond the mind. The answer lies beyond the duality of whether there's free will, no free will, and hard determinism. Duality is the domain of the mind. It wants things one way or another, on, off, left, right, up, down, free will, no free will. Perhaps the reason we wonder if we have free will is because thoughts appear like, do I really have a choice? With all of these decisions that I have to make every day, do I really have a choice in all of this? Sometimes I feel lost. Sometimes I feel confused. Like there's a decision to make and I can't seem to know what choice to make. There seems to be a chooser that has to make all of these decisions, and with every decision, that chooser could make the wrong choice and be a failure. And that's a whole lot of responsibility and suffering. So the question of free will arises. Is there a sense of self to blame in all of that? Is there a center of volition, a chooser, an I that I can point to and say, this is your fault? Or need I not worry about all of that because there's no free will and so I have no choice in it all anyway? Is that going to take the pressure off me? And so I think this prompts a deeper investigation, right? That I in the thinking, that I in the thought, that was my choice. Is there any free will in that? Is there any free will in the idea of being a separate person, fundamentally separate from the whole, who can figure it out, fuck it up, feel like a failure, and have to start all over again? It's not always present, is it? It relies on thinking. There has to be thought. There has to be an I, a self-concept. And we have to believe that we are that I in the thinking. But between two thoughts, you don't disappear. The thoughts appear within awareness, and awareness doesn't go anywhere when thoughts disappear. And when that I in the thinking disappears with the thinking, you're still here, silently watching. There is just what is appearing. And when thoughts appear, you're the one who's aware of that I in the thinking. So, which one is real? Researchers have now shown that brain activity predicts decisions before they are consciously made. It's like our minds have been made up before we even know about it. So many people might say, well, that sounds bloody depressing, doesn't it? That means I can't do anything about anything. But all it really shows so far is that the center of volition isn't where we thought it was. It's not in the I, in the thinking that takes credit for the performance. It's not in that character. Relatively, there is a person that appears to make a decision, of course, but in a way not ultimately. Ultimately, all of this is unfolding in this all that isness, this appearance, this dream. And if it's a dream, then there must be a dreamer, right? And if you're the dreamer, you must be experiencing your own creation. You must be experiencing yourself. It's your dream. But in order to have a dream in the first place, in order to appear to yourself, you had to forget that you're the dreamer. You had to fall asleep and believe that you're this dream character in a dream world, a separate center of volition within the dream, moving around in the dream, which is separate from you out there. But at some point, you realize it's all you. It's all your consciousness. And you are that consciousness. The dream character didn't really have a separate existence. It's all your creation, as this all that isness. It's just that you can believe that you are the character, that you are that separate entity, and all of the limitations that come with that. And from that perspective, you're subject to ultimate harm and annihilation, as is the body and mind. And this is ultimately the source of all fears, this fear of death. Or you can see the truth, that you're way beyond that, that you're self-aware consciousness itself, that you're this boundless life unfolding as your life, unfolding as your dream. And as you stay knowingly the dreamer, well, the dream gets more dreamlike. That's when all the signs and synchronicities and serendipities start dropping in. It's as if the universe is winking at you for being on the right path, and everything that you as that dream character wants seems to drop in more easily anyway. But that was a result of letting go of control, and yet in a weird way, in a paradoxical way, you got it back. The doer, the chooser, seems to be attached to things going a certain way. And the greater the attachment, the more those things never seem to manifest. Then, when the doer, the chooser, goes, the choices that it wanted to make seem to happen more naturally and just flow in. So, whether there is any free will, a chooser or not, if there was a choice to be made, wouldn't it boil down to love or fear? Fear, the belief in being a separate entity in a cold, dead, dumb universe made of mathematical probabilities, a machine. Or love, an embracing of you as this all that isness, as this consciousness, and taking a stand as this consciousness, living in love and truth. Fear, the domain of the separate self, or love, your true nature, your natural self-shining self that's naturally loving and peaceful and thinks and feels and behaves in such a way when the appearance of fear is removed. The belief in being a separate self, or the knowing of being awareness itself. Contraction or expansion. A fragment of the universe or wholeness. The small self or your true self. Love or fear. When we stay in love, we stay courageous. We stay with the ability to feel our feelings and really process them, because we can love even our pain, and so begins the transmutation process of pain into gold. We notice more and more when fear appears, and when there's this temporary divergence into old survival patterns, a scared child trying to get their needs met, an old fear story. And from love, we can still draw strong boundaries. We can still say a stern no, if required, or remove ourselves from a situation or from genuine danger. We can still look after and protect the body and the mind. And at the deepest level, we can see ourselves as this screen of awareness as which the movie is playing out, and realize that nothing can ever really harm us as the screen. No content of a movie can harm the screen. So we see ourselves as the dreamer as which this dream is playing out, and we realize that nothing can harm us as the dreamer. Yes, the body and mind can be harmed. Yes, the body and mind has its needs and wants and desires. And we can't expect to be perfect. Even the best of us, myself included, may experience some fear and old survival patterns or get triggered by a challenging situation sometimes. Of course, life can be a deep challenge and there can be deep pain. But we can also connect to a deeper truth, that all of this plays out as this all that isness that you are, this ever-present, all-embracing, loving consciousness that you are, and on the ultimate level, you are infinite. If there is any choice, choose to stay in that truth. Choose to live knowingly in truth, in love. Because if there is any choice to be made, there's only really one choice, right? Love or fear. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Just before you go, enrollment is currently open for the Awaken Aware program. It's a science and non-duality informed coaching program to help you release fears, anxieties, and live in more love and peace. And it includes one-to-one sessions with me so we can go deep together. This program is for you if you're open to exploring deeper truths about yourself and about reality. And it's for you if you're willing to do the inner work to free your body and mind from old patterns that you don't need anymore. And it's for you if you're ready to discard old fears and attachments and create a new chapter in your life that's in line with who you really are. So if that sounds like you, head over to speaktoalex.com, where there will be a quick quiz to fill in about you and the option to apply for a free call with me or one of my team to talk about overcoming your challenges. If we find out it's not for you, we'll try and point you in the right direction. And if it is for you, we'll invite you to jump on board for the journey and support you in a radical transformation. Peace and blessings. Love you all. See you in the next video. Peace.